looking for the first tiny little chanterelles of this year. So far I haven't found any, but I did find a scarlatina bolete these past days, and I've also seen some other mushrooms that are indicators for chanterelles. So I do think it's reasonable to start looking, and I don't expect anything in a size that I would actually pick, but I do like to see these first little tiny heads pop out, and that's like the start of the mushroom season for me personally, because I'm not good with spring mushrooms. There are of course spring mushrooms like morels, but I'm not very successful in finding them. And there are also other types of mushrooms, but in the type of forest that I live in, there aren't many in spring. So usually the chanterelles in summer are like the beginning of the mushroom foraging season for me. I also have my little assistant with me, of course. Hast du einen schönen Platz hier? Sehr gut. Du bist ja ganz furchtbar. Hättert hier. Ja, jetzt bist du nicht mal verheddert. I do feel a bit better this week, and I don't suppose the summer depression is gone, but like my mood was a lot better, and I also had a bit more energy to do things, so that was great. Also, the weather wasn't really summery, maybe that helped. In fact, it was really cold. I had to heat my apartment. I had to make a fire several times. But I did manage to do some things. I took my first Pilates class in over 2 years, I think. And it was really challenging, but it did go well, I think. I am really sore. My muscles ache like hell now, but it felt good. And I felt very sporty and active doing it, so that's exciting. I hope I can continue. It's a weekly course, so once a week, and I did the same 2 years ago when I first came back here, and I was still in the mindset of fighting and getting myself back in shape. And I also went running 2 to 3 times during that time, and it didn't help with my condition. I feel like Pilates is something that I actually can do, and if I'm careful, my body handles it pretty well, because it also really doesn't get my heart rate up that much. But it's still an experiment. But I really hope I can better my posture through it and build a bit of muscle, because I do have a lot of issues with my back now. That's something new and exciting in my life. I also ordered a new couch, which is supposed to be delivered next week, and I'm really excited about that. I also updated a bit of my gallery wall behind me, because I wanted it to match the new couch. And also I thrifted a few more picture frames during these last months, and I exchanged some of the ones that had some gold in it for silver ones, because all of the metal that is in my apartment is this steel chromy silver color. So now everything is very pristine and beautiful, and I also get a new lamp in exchange for this one. I also read a few books these past weeks that I haven't talked about yet. I think the last one I talked about on here was The Goldfinch, and after that one I read The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark, and I enjoyed it very much. It's set in Scotland, in Edinburgh to be exact. And it's about a teacher and a set of girls she's teaching, and their biography, and it's very funny and very witty. Yeah, it's the first book I've read from Muriel Spark, but I think I want to read more of her writing. I also listened to an audiobook by Annie Ernaux, The Years. I listened to it on my library app, and they had a German translation of it. It's very short. I think I listened to it in one sitting, and it's a very interesting take on a mix between an autobiography and an analysis of an entire generation. And it's really good. I can highly recommend it. Then I read My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I always struggle with her name because it's a French name, but she was British. So I have the urge to pronounce it in a French way, but she probably said it in a British way, so I really don't know how to say it. This is the German translation. I found it in a second-hand bookstore, and this was absolutely brilliant. I also enjoyed Rebecca very much. I read it in the beginning of the year, in January, and I loved it. I think the vibes were very similar in Rebecca and in My Cousin Rachel, and also the setting of the mansion and the gardens and the surroundings. It's very similar. The characters were quite different, and I think the character of Rachel is really great. It's very good. Currently I'm reading The Garden Against Time by Olivia Laing, and it's great. I can't say much about it because I haven't read it, but So far it's very good, and if you're interested in gardens and in nature and in flowers and blooms, I think this is a great read so far. I can't give a final opinion about it, but I do enjoy it, and I also think this looks just absolutely stunning. So other than that, there's not much happening. My plants are doing great in the garden because of all the rain. Knitting wise, I'm still knitting on the same projects. There isn't much happening there. I'm also still working on a sewing project, but that is going to be in a separate video. I also created a coffee account, which is like a tipping service for creators on the internet. So you can give them a small tip or even like a monthly subscription type donation. So if anyone wants to support me, there's a way now, but of course no one has to. I also working on a few essays for Substack. I have many drafts now on topics I want to write about, so that's very nice. And I'm also still working on my sock pattern that I want to release, but it probably won't be released until autumn because I still need to write it. I do want to go through like a testing phase, and I also think it's like the more appropriate season to release a sock pattern. But yeah, that's still happening. I'm still working on it. These are the exciting news that I have to share right now.